Now let's review a widely used feature called live templates. In other editors, this feature is also called snippets. So to open up the list with all available live templates, we need to press Command J. And here we can see all available live templates and their abbreviations that we can use to expand them. So they work in the following way. We can either choose one of the live templates from this list or start typing its abbreviation, and then after pressing Tab, this live template will be expanded, which in this case, as we can see, live template that I have chosen was responsible for expanding to the static function. And then all I will have to do is just fill in all dynamic spots in this live template, such as method name and its parameters. Another example of the live template expands to the for each construct. So here we need to fill in a variable that we are going to iterate over, and we are done. Another example is echo, which expands into echo statement in PHP. List of all available live templates we can see in live templates section of the settings. Here we can see a bunch of different live templates that are all grouped by the context. And the context usually means file extension. So now let's try to create our own live template. I'm going to switch over to File with Routes, and based on the route definition, we're going to create live template. First of all, we have to select the part of code that we wish to create live template based on, and then let's open up Command Palette by pressing Command-Shift-A and choose an option Save as Live Template. So in here we have to fill in some of the parts of the live template, such as its abbreviation that we will use to expand this live template. Then we can also specify a description, and finally the main part of the live template is its content. I'm going to make a few parts of this live template dynamic, and to do so we're using variables which are defined by specifying $sign at the beginning and the end of the variable, like so. So I'm gonna define 3 variables, first of which will be path, that will be responsible for filling in the path for this route. The second variable is called resource, which is basically the name of the resource we're creating the route for. And finally we're gonna specify the method name, which is going to handle the current route. And also for these variables we can specify default values in case we're not gonna provide values for them. So for the variable called action, I will specify index as a default value. And then in here I'm gonna say that this template is going to be available everywhere in PHP files. Let's save this template and try to use it. So I'm gonna type in its abbreviation, which is route, then press Tab, and as we can see, it has been expanded into the full route definition. So all we have to do in here is to fill in dynamic parts, such as path, resource name, as well as action name, which already contains default name index, as we have specified earlier. And by the way, to switch between these dynamic regions, we have to press Tab. Let's also make one more part dynamic in this live template definition. In particular, I'm gonna make dynamic the method name. So let's use another variable called method, save it, and try it again. Let's expand this live template, and this time I'm gonna have to fill in 4 dynamic parts in this live template, such as method name, path, resource name, as well as section name. Moving on to the next example, let's switch over to user.php and create another live template based on the scope method. This method has to start with the scope prefix. As always, first of all we have to select the part that we have to create live template based on. Then let's execute the command save as live template. And let's provide abbreviation for this live template, as well as description. And finally let's modify template text by removing all unnecessary parts. Let's also add a couple of dynamic regions by specifying variables. So I'm gonna make method name dynamic, as well as parameter list, in case we'll have to specify extra parameters that this scope method is going to take. And by the way, if we have to literally use $sign in live template definition, and because $sign is used to specify dynamic variables, we have to kind of escape $sign that we have to output as is. And to do so, we need to specify two $signs in a row, like so. Let's also do it in here. And finally, I'm gonna use one more variable, but this time it will be predefined variable with a special name and we use this variable in order to tell IDE when the cursor has to be positioned after expanding this template and after providing all necessary dynamic parts. So let's try to use this template now. Its abbreviation is scope. Let's expand it and provide dynamic parts such as name, parameters, and at the end, as we can see, our cursor has jumped to the position where we have specified variable with the name and. So as we can see, it is working. And just to practice a little more with creating live templates, let's create another one. This time I'm gonna use this relationship method. So our next live template will be expanded by using rel abbreviation, which is going to have three dynamic parts. First of all, we're gonna make relationship name dynamic, as well as related model. And finally, let's also make dynamic the method name itself. And additionally, for variable type, we're gonna specify default value, which is has many. Let's save the changes and try it out. Let's write rel, press tab to expand this template, and then fill in method name, its type, which by the way we don't have to change if we're okay to use default value, which is has many, and last dynamic value will be related model name. And just to position our cursor at the very end of this method, right after expanding this live template, I'm gonna switch back to settings and add special variable end right to the very end of this live template. Let's save the changes and try it again and see where our cursor will be positioned at the end of expanding this live template. And also, besides specifying default values for dynamic variables, we can also specify some functions, which is going to transform value for this dynamic variable based on some logic. In this case, I'm going to use complete, and what this will allow us to do is, while expanding this live template and specifying the value for this variable, we're gonna get autocomplete. So we can choose the method name from the list of all available autocomplete options. One more time, let's expand this template by using rel and pressing tab. And then once we reach the second dynamic region, right away we're gonna get an autocomplete, thankfully to that complete function that we have specified in the expression field for this variable. And finally, at the end, let's try another example of the live template, which is going to be a little bit different from ones we have already reviewed, because this live template is going to work in a way that firstly, we would have to select some code, and then we will be able to wrap the selected code with another code that will be determined by the live template itself. So for example, we want to create a live template to quickly wrap certain code into array. As always, we start defining live template by selecting the text and running the command with the name save as live template. And now I'll use another predefined variable called selection, and this variable is going to store the text that we have selected before using this live template. So all I have to do in here to wrap the selected text into array is to wrap it in brackets, like so. And then to wrap certain code into live template, firstly let's select this code and press Option Command J. This time we're getting an error saying that no surround templates defined in this context, which basically means that we haven't specified proper context where our live template will be available. So let's open up settings once again and specify proper context for this live template. In this particular case, I want this live template to work in any PHP files, regardless of the context in that PHP file. Let's do one more try. Select the text, press Option Command J, and now we have one option available in this list, which is our live template that we have created before. Let's choose this option, and just like that, we were able to quickly wrap certain piece of code into an array. Also, as you may remember, we have reviewed another keyboard shortcut in one of the previous lessons, which is Option Command T, which opens up such surround with menu, and here we can wrap some code into different conditional blocks, for statements, try-catch statements, and so on. And at the end of this list, we also have available live templates, so we can use this list to wrap the code by using our live templates as well. And finally, before finishing this lesson, let's switch over to the file with markup and try to use surround with feature by wrapping tags into other tags. So first of all, let's select the tag we'd like to wrap and then press Option Command J. We got a couple of options. First one is surround with a particular tag, and the second one is wrap with an emmet syntax. The first option is pretty simple. It basically allows us to wrap selected text into another tag. All we have to do in here is to provide the name for the new tag, and that's it. And the second option from this list, which is emmet, is pretty similar. It basically allows us to use emmet syntax while wrapping the code. So instead of simply specifying the name of the wrapping tag, we can also add additional attributes such as ID or class attributes. And that's about it. In this lesson we have reviewed capabilities of live templates, how they are created and how they are used.